Welcome to Pecan Corner. Today I'm getting ready for an art project demonstration that I'm going to do this week for a local art show. There's a show called The Stars of Texas, and it's a wonderful juried show and has wonderful artists. I'm not good enough to exhibit in it, but every day during the full 2 weeks they have three different artists demonstrate their different kinds of artwork, and to expose people to different ways that you can express yourself through art. And so I've been privileged, this will be the third year that I've been privileged to be able to demonstrate there. Usually the various elementary schools will come bring classes of students to come and we demonstrate for them. And I also last year the college brought some classes out, and these were folks that were studying education, so they actually were watching our demonstrations in order to learn better how to teach art. So I thought that was pretty exciting, and I was pretty honored that they chose to come and watch me. I enjoy demonstrating. It's a lot of fun, and the kids are always, every age group has different things that they're interested in, and different kinds of questions that they ask. Anyway, this year I'm demonstrating linoleum block printing, which I got into as an adjunct to letterpress printing. And so what I'm going to do some things, and I'll probably do some more videos of my demonstration there at the show, but I thought it would be kind of fun. You're seeing a little bitty corner of my print shop right now. As time goes on, I'll show more of it. It's stacked pretty much floor to ceiling with paper and books and metal type, and so it's lots and lots of supplies here, but you have to have supplies to be able to do anything. So one of the things I'm doing today is I want to do some block prints on dishcloths, and so I have these little gauzy dishcloths, and they're new, and I'm going to do. I've cut my blocks. I've got blocks here of different kinds of vegetables. There's an onion, bell pepper. There we go. Tomato, Swiss chard, squash, and I'm going to start with my peas. Now the fabric is porous, so I'm going to put I'll use these little pieces of wax paper to line the underneath so that it doesn't mash out onto my press. I was lucky. I got to Hobby Lobby, my favorite craft store. I love Hobby Lobby. But when I got there, they had a bunch of their block printing ink on clearance. So normally I wouldn't buy a specific fabric ink. I would just use just a regular block print ink. But because they had this on for $2.15, where it's regularly $10 a container, and even the regular block printing ink, it runs $7 or $8 a container, so it was still a big bargain over the regular. So I went ahead and bought it. So this is my first time to use it, and I was able to get several colors, and I also got a there we go. I also got some of the extender base that I can use in my regular colors, so that they'll kind of come together. Hopefully I can combine them a little bit. Now this one is an oil-based ink that cleans up easily with soap and water. After curing for a week at room temperature, it can be laundered. So I'm going to... Block printing ink is very stiff. Now this is not actually as stiff as my letterpress ink. My letterpress ink is, axle grease would be not as stiff as my printing ink. But this is pretty stiff stuff because you don't want it to be running. So there's put a little bit onto this is a piece of glass. This is a glass tray. You can use any kind of glass. It makes a good surface for your ink. And I'm using just using a brayer. I wanted this to show you, and brayers can be expensive, and for some kinds of things you need multiple colors of them. And I've had pretty good success with saving these little inserts that come out of like adding machine paper, and stick a pin in there. Well, this little clip will go right down in those little holes in the side, and so there it kind of holds it in place. And so that gives me a kind of a poor man's brayer that I can use if I'm short. I can use it just like a rolling pin. If I don't have enough brayers, or if I'm where I can't clean up between times. So I'm gonna roll this out. Alright, and now I'm going to roll it onto my block. There we go. Alright, and lay my, oops, let me lay that down, get my cloth situated here. I have to do my cloth, I have to do one layer at a time, and I'm kind of doing it, let's see, here we go. Let's do it on this, yeah, here we go. Let's do it on this hemmed edge. That'll be prettiest. And I'm going to start. So that's going to be the upright edge that I'm kind of working backwards. So I have to put my there's my wax paper down. Oops. Okay. Put my paper there. I'm lining it up with the edges of my press arms, and I want these to be right side up, so I'm going to put them down like that. Okay. All right. So let's see. Let's do it right there. I'm just going to use my little creases from the faux lines. Let me get a piece of wood, there we go, that I can use as a block here. There we go. Give that a little more pressure. There we go. Now I can get some pressure on that. Okay. Alrighty. And there is my piece. So what I want to do is I want to do a series of these peas, and then I'm going to intersperse them with other vegetables. So I'm going to, this is where these faux lines come in real handy, because I'll move down to my next set of faux lines, and I'll put some more paint on my block, more ink on my block. You can use, you can actually use a thick acrylic, and put it on with a brush for certain simple kinds of things. To save yourself having to buy a bunch of different colors of paint and invest that much money in something that's just for one project, you know. You can also use these inks for other kinds of projects too. So. And they keep a long time. I've never had trouble with my ink drying out. Maybe the little end at the open cap end will, but you can kind of pull that out, and usually the rest will. I normally use oil-based inks. I like them better, and they're completely, you know, they're completely eco-friendly. The old ones were too. They were made with linseed oil, so you can't get better than that, made out of the seeds of the flax plant. So there's another one, and then we'll do we'll do one more down here, and we'll have one on each end. So we'll have 3, and that's a nice odd number, which will be very good. My little block press here, you can actually use a Baron. I'm not going to demonstrate that now, but I'll show you some of that next week when I'm doing or later when I'm doing the demonstrations at the show. But okay, now there's that. Now I've got peas on 3 sets of peas, and so I'll come back and do something else in the middle with a different color after these have had a chance to dry a bit. So I'm going to hang them up over here. I've got I usually hang paper up to dry, but today it's going to be cloth, huh? Let me just fold it here and get it kind of out of the way. There we go. Anyway, so that's block printing. I'll come back in a little bit with some different colors and show you a little bit more. Hello again. One of the things that I'm doing today is I'm demonstrating linoleum block printing and block cutting here at the Stars of Texas Art Show. The Stars Show is an annual event that lasts for 2 weeks, and on each of the weekdays during the 2 weeks, 3 different artists demonstrate their work. I'm not an exhibitor in the show, but I do have been blessed to be asked to demonstrate, and so this year what I'm demonstrating is block printing. I'm cutting these linoleum blocks, and I'm going to show you how I'm using I've got this little form. This kind of holds the block at an angle, and then it's got this is kind of a sticky stop substance. This is not necessary. You could use like a piece of felt or just something to help keep the block from slipping. You always want to keep your hands behind the block when you're cutting. The gouges that I'm using are razor sharp, and you turn you don't turn your knife into the block like this because you would slip and cut your hand. You always turn your block as you're cutting, so that you're cutting away from your hands at all times. And I always wear rubber gloves. I always wear leather gloves when I'm cutting. We've had several people that have stopped by today to watch the process, and it's been nice because I've had some time to spend with each one of them. And one lady that stopped and spent about 30 minutes with me is an artist who actually has several pieces in this show. It's a juried show, so it's quite an honor to be in it. And after looking at her pieces, I can see why she's interested in this. I hope that she will try block cutting, because I think she will find it a very valuable medium for her artistic expression. She paints with oils right now and is very, very good. So this has been kind of fun to be able to spend some time talking with and meeting artists who have some real talent, and in getting to know them a little bit better. I also have fun spending time with the other demonstrators, and I always learn a lot from them when I come and do this. What I'm cutting right now is I'm just cutting a simple initial. This is an initial A, and I'll use it. I'm going to put it on. I've done an H on a coaster. These are just coasters, so I'm going to print this one onto a coaster as well. And I think it'll look real good.
Oh, have you done that yet? Oh, there's stone in there? That's stone.
All right, now let's see what we do with this. Now I'm going to ink my block. There's my A. I've done, these are some pieces that I've done. There's the block that I cut, and there's the card that I printed from it. You'll notice the print is a mirror image of the block. This is the building that we're in now. This is a depot, and then this is the block that I cut it from. There's another print. These I brought as a giveaway. I always try to bring some kind of a little giveaway print that so people have a souvenir they can take home with them. This is the same flower as that one, but I have two different blocks for it because the different colors require a different block to print them. So you see, this is the stem and the leaves, but there's no flower part in there that's left open. And then here's the flower block. All right, what color do I want to make my A here? Let's try it in some silver. I have some silver paint here. Where is it? My silver, oh, there it is. Okay. Metallic silver. This will be hard to clean up, but it'll be fun to print. Just a little bit. Don't need very much. It's my brayer. There they are. There's my block on here. Press down. The block on the press, I've been explaining to the little kids, the reason you have to mount the unmounted linoleum onto a block is to get leverage when you push down the press, because otherwise. And there we go. There's our A. And then this is these are water-based paints that will just clear off with just wash off. So maybe we'll try it. I need to do some yellow, just for fun. Yes. I'm going to do oh my gosh, well, me and my sister, you know, it's kind of what's fun is it's creative. This is what I got. Let's do it. Here's what I knew there was something I wanted to do. I have a block that I carved the other day. It's going to show cotton balls on a card. So I'm going to start with a silver background, I think. Get my card. Top like that. Now that's the first part. Now I'm going to add leaves and I'm going to add the little holes. First I'm going to print a couple more with this ink. This is not as hard to print as the linoleum blocks because the material is a lot softer. So it prints off a lot easier. I use my phone book to store these prints so that they don't, this is called interleaving, so that they don't smear.
Hey, you're supposed to be working, aren't you? I'm looking at this stuff. I know. Who's working today?
See the texture that shows up from the texture in the paper? I really like that. I like that effect a lot, especially since this is a print of cotton, so you'll get the look of the fabric. Alright, now then. Clean these off. And I'll be back in a few minutes and show you what I do next. Alright, remember the other day I told you I was going to put something else on this cloth. I'm going to use my yellow for two things, so I'm going to start with this cloth and get this out of the way so it can be dry. I'm going to put a squash. I have laid out a piece of wax paper on my press there. And now I'm going to lay my little squash block between these and put my wooden block on top so that I get the leverage. Without this block, I don't get the leverage that I need. Alrighty. Let's do it again. Different. Move it over. There's what that looks like. Peas and squash on it. On my silver and these. Alright, now the parts I'm going to do this, these are the holes of the cart. Just a light little dab of it. There we I'm gonna move the little hollow blocks and put them in a different place.
What time do you finish? I have class tomorrow.
See how those are?
I can't read it. Oh, I have to go out early and do something.
Put them in a couple of other places.
Or else I would, but, yeah, no, I said Thursday, Mondays and Tuesdays and Thursdays, I go out and early, Tuesday and Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I have to go out tomorrow. Maybe ask her. Maybe ask her yet? Probably go do that one. She was. Crazy horse. It's supposed to be nice this whole time. Did you see the, it's supposed to be nice. It's all weekend. Did you see,
With the yellow on it. Alright. I'm going to do one more with the yellow because I want to be able to show the progression to folks. Alright, so there we go. I'll be back in just a second. Alright, well, we're wrapping up here. I am finishing up. I don't know where I left off, but it kind of got to a point where I couldn't film anymore. So I just trying to show y'all some things. Anyway, this is where I've spent my day and what I've been getting ready for the last few days. So if you are interested in any kind of art form, I encourage you to explore it, learn about it, find ways to get in it, to try it, because you never know when what you're going to find is your medium that opens the door for the true artist in you to come out. All right. Thanks, you guys. Bye-bye.